The garden rescue team are on a mission
Look at that!
to create beautiful green spaces in family homes
What do you think? I think that's super cool.
and make people's garden dreams come true.
Fab.
Charlie Dimmock,
Pushes the boundaries out.
the much-loved queen of the family garden.
What could go wrong?
The Rich Brothers,
Good luck, boyo.
creators of classy, trend-setting outdoor spaces.
It's such a nice pop of colour, isn't it?
And Arit Anderson,
That's brilliant.
an award-winning designer with a distinctive sense of style.
A lot of these plants are quite easy to maintain.
They're here to answer garden emergencies
There is a lot to be done.
based on the client's needs and budget.
So I think it's definitely challenging.
2 sets of designers create and pitch
Ooh,
garden plans.
wow.
But only one can win.
Jazza.
Has to help them build it.
Oh, look at that!
This is what happens when 2 different styles collide
What's not to love?
to turn garden dreams into reality.
Oh, Charlie, I love you.
That's a bit better, isn't it?
Today, Charlie takes on the Rich Brothers to design a dynamic space for a mum and her teenage children.
Here we've got Nikki and her family. Now, she's a single mum.
4 children.
4 children.
And 2 doggies.
I live here with my 4 teenagers, so 3 girls and 1 boy. I think Sam has an awful lot to put up with 3 older sisters and me in the house.
You ready to see the garden?
Yes.
And it looks a bit like that.
Oh, blimey.
It's the garden.
Summertime?
So, at the moment, it's just one concrete path and lawn either side.
So when the kids were small, we had trampolines and pools and all the stuff that little kids have, but obviously over the years we've got rid of all of that. Every summer it gets to the nice weather and I think, if only we had a nice garden, if only we had a patio or decking to sit out on. Currently we don't really invite people around to spend time in the garden. I'm a little bit ashamed of it, to be honest with you.
There's a few needs.
Yeah.
Teenage children want to have their own separate space.
Hangout
getaway.
space.
It's a bit like if we were in the garden, we'd want to have a little area away from you where we could, you know, just do what we want to do.
I don't think they're that bothered about colour and flowers because they're not at the age where it really makes that much difference to them. Just to sit there with some friends is what their priority is, I think.
Another consideration is it's going to be a washing line because obviously 4 teenage children means there's a lot of washing.
Washing blowing on the line. To the point where on a nice summer's morning, the first thing I think about is washing out.
Tell us about the little gnomes at the bottom of the garden.
She has some gnomes and she'd like to find homes
For the gnomes.
So this is my collection of gnomes. Some of them are newer ones, so the kids have bought me some of these for Mother's Day. And these ones up here are the ones that I've inherited from grandparents and my mother. As you can see, they're a little bit worse for wear. The garden at the moment is a little bit depressing. The only thing that's bright and jolly is the gnomes. They're the things that are cheerful in the garden. Nothing else is cheerful at all.
The budget?
£3,000.
Looks quite long,
It
doesn't
does
it?
look quite big, and there's not an awful lot in there at the moment to start with.
To see how best to tackle this long, scruffy plot, the designers are off to Wiltshire.
We've got a path.
Can't really call it a lawn.
No. More
So
kind of scrubland, isn't it?
Wow, it's like it needs help, doesn't it?
You can see why they want to divide the space up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and there's no space to come and sit. There's actually no patio area.
No. The gnomes look like they've procreated.
I mean, we're truly outnumbered here, guys. So we better say we like them.
When we go in the house in a bit, you're going to have to stay out here with them.
Talk to them.
Now, on with
No,
glasses.
the gnomes are friendly.
I saw him blink. Nice little room, isn't it?
It is. Straight on it.
I know, the gnomes continue.
We need to create a space that's right for the whole family.
I mean, there's nowhere to sit at the moment. So I think priority is to separate it into different areas. And within this kitchen, you've got the island there with all the stools around the outside.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can begin to see that this is a well-used room and there's lots of them. So if it's a nice day, I think, to give them lots of different seating spaces outside, that'd be the dream.
Lovely. Right.
Nikki!
Hello!
Hello. Now, the first thing I have to ask, the gnomes. Tell me about the gnomes.
They're great, aren't they?
Well-
It's the only bit of my garden, as you can see at the moment, so it keeps me happy as it is now, and I love them. Some need a lick of paint, but, you know, they stay.
The gnomes stay?
The gnomes stay.
And do you like that sort of slightly fun, humorous side?
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
When the boys and I come to design in the garden, we ought to think about that.
Yes,
side of
most
things.
definitely.
Hello! Not only gnomes we've got to consider, but 2 dogs as well.
I know, but 2 very cute ones.
So, area of lawn, I imagine, somewhere where they can run around, play, do their business.
Yeah. To be honest, I could just stay here and just stroke the dog.
Now we've got a job to do, Harry. Come on.
Get an inspiration.
Let's see what's in here.
Look at this room. Well, straight away, a lovely colour tone.
There it
Almost
is.
of autumn.
And I think at the moment, outside, there's no colour, is there?
Gardens are there to highlight seasons. It's lovely maybe to have trees and shrubs that have great autumn colour.
About what you want from the garden. Now, are there any certain colours you like?
I love autumnal colours. Autumn's my favourite time of the year, so...
OK, so we ought to think about getting some autumn.
yeah.
You obviously want a space that you can use as a family,
Yes.
space that people can use on their own.
Kick the kids out here.
OK, and you keep the house.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
And I presume maintenance is going to be a problem.
Yeah, I don't mind a little bit of lawn, but no masses of lawn. I haven't got the time to do it. I would like some colour, but again, not masses of pruning and whatever it is you do.
OK,
Plants.
you know, staking up flowers and things.
All that fancy stuff.
No.
No.
Do you like cottagey? Do you like straight lines? Do you like formal?
I'm happy with anything. Anything's better than what I've got.
Well, that means that we can do basically what
Whatever
we
you want.
want. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Having shared all this new information from the visit, the designers get straight to work on Nikki's family garden. Each of them will come up with a plan that works within her budget, then Nikki will choose her favourite, and whichever designer loses will help the winner build it. The £3,000 budget will be spent on materials, while Charlie and the Rich brothers, along with a team of landscapers, provide the labour for free. Back in Royal Wootton Bassett, Nikki's brought in moral support for the pitches.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello and hello.
I see we have another
is my
another
friend.
judge, do we?
OK, so this is our design. We wanted to create a family garden, but also, there's quite a lot of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might be annoyed with one of them, you know what I mean?
Sometimes.
So it's the idea about just giving different spaces. But what's nice is they have different characters. So that open lawn, or the dappled canopy of the tree, or the family area, or the scented aromatic planting there on the base. So 4 different areas in there that are connected through these flowering living walls. And hopefully it's just somewhere that provides you loads of colour and loads of enjoyment.
Great.
Hello, Nikki.
Hello.
And friend. I have gone quite fluid and organic. OK, this is your conservatory. And you come out to a big family deck that is surrounded, screened with these upright organ pipe panels with a bench seating area coming off of it. And then you wander down this path to 2 zones down the bottom.
For the structure, it's straight lines versus curves. But both designers are giving Nikki multiple seating areas for her 4 teenagers. Details next.
So as soon as you step out the house, we wanted to give you this large patio.
So, with a built-in bench seat there, with a fire bowl, which is movable, so you could move it to the bottom of the garden.
Both designers have chosen the same spot for the family area. But Nikki needs her new garden to be functional as
Really important space is lawn. So obviously with children, teenagers, washing, a nice open area
Dogs.
is really important. Dogs, gnomes. I can see he's smiling. You can't see, but he is. It's really important to have that open space in the garden. But what's nice is it has a very defined area.
Wander on down. I've left 2 areas of lawn. One, because I thought you could put your washing line here. That would be hidden behind that screening there.
But there's also teenagers to please. How are the designers giving them their own space?
This is a circular mound. So it's banked up soil with grass on and planting. So, you know, I know teenagers, they like to sprawl on the lawn. A couple of built-in benches, but this is a real sort of hangout area. So when you're down here, if you're up there, you won't see them down there.
Oh, perfect.
And then this little area One-person zone.
Oh.
It's basically rebar that I've used to make a trellis work, a little deck, so you can lay on the beanbag and look up at the stars. And if the stars aren't out, it's okay because we'll put fairy lights on there. So it's a chill zone for a stroppy teenager or a
me.
stroppy mum.
Nikki looks happy with that. So what's the brothers' idea?
This area is defined by a single tree or a nice multi-stem shrub. So it's going to feel quite zen, quite calming. It's somewhere you can just take a chair and sit below the canopy.
And then at the back end of the garden, we like the idea of just introducing a little bit of meadow. So great for the bees and butterflies. So that back section is going to feel very natural. It's going to soften the fences, which are quite obvious at the moment.
This is a hard one to call. The designer's choice of low-maintenance plants could swing it.
So what we've used are like a framework in which we're going to grow climbers up.
These are going to create that awesome colour. And with the plants being quite low maintenance, it means that you're not going to have to be doing too much.
Yeah.
I've got 3 key shrubs to give you your autumn colour. So I'm thinking of a spindle bush. It's almost impossible to kill, but it goes fantastic colours in the autumn.
Okay.
And then just straightforward flowering shrubs and perennials that look after themselves.
Finally, Nikki's gnomes.
And then in this bank here, I've got some little decks for your gnomes to stand.
Oh, how lovely.
With maybe a little bit of planting round, so they've got their own little garden to maintain.
What about the gnome?
I might need to buy some more.
Look how many rooms there are.
I think I need some more. It's a mission.
Nice.
Wonderful. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thanks,
you.
bye.
See you in a bit.
We'll leave you both contemplating.
Thank you.
With 4 teenagers, 2 dogs, and a tribe of gnomes to please, Nikki has a tricky decision to make. So her children are on hand to help.
I really like them both. I like that one because it's got separate bits that you can like go and sit on and stuff. But I also do really like that one.
We've got these, they're almost like living walls with all climbers up, dividing the spaces.
See, I quite like that one on the right, and it has like separate sections.
Yeah.
I really like the middle bit of that one, like...
Well, this bit here
Yeah,
with the tree.
It seems like a nice private area, just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
And you can like sit under the tree and do what you want. I like how it's all sectioned off, and then the bit at the end where you get all these flowers, and I think it'd just be really colourful and really nice.
So I've got a big sort of deck area with a seating area off of it.
Nice.
I think that's really cute.
It does look really nice,
I like
doesn't
that
it?
bit.
Then I got a teenage sprawl zone.
Oh, nice.
And then these seating areas are sort of within the...
Within the thing?
Yeah, within the hill.
That's a really cute idea.
cool.
And then I've got a stroppy zone for one person, whether it's mum or teenager.
I do like that little on
This
the top
thing?
left, yeah.
That you can imagine yourself lying under the stars, under
Yeah.
there, out the way of all these sisters.
Yeah.
I think we might have to take a vote on it.
All right.
So hands up for Charlie's. Oh. So does this make I have to make the final decision?
So will Nikki go for the Rich brothers with their 4 rooms divided by living walls? Or Charlie's screen deck area and chill out zone?
1,
Hey, hello.
3.
It's time to find out.
Hey, guys.
Okay, so it was a really difficult decision. It split the family down the middle.
Nice.
But we finally made the decision, which is...
So what was it about mine?
This did go down very well, and you said with fairy lights or stars, so that did go down very well. And the decking area, yeah, we just all like that. Looking forward to it.
I know.
It's great news for Charlie, and she'll have the Rich brothers working alongside her to transform this shameful plot into a dynamic garden for all the family. It's build day. And all revved up and ready to go are project manager Andy with landscapers Kyle, Gruff and Ben.
Stand over here, Ben. You can hold the plan. Here we are, look. Essentially, it's made up of a couple of decks, really. One big one down here, and then another deck mound. So we've got to get this path out. Who's going to do the strimming? Right.
The strimming will have to wait. Ben starts by digging up the old concrete path, while Andy, Carl and Gruff move Nikki's precious gnomes out of harm's way.
Come on, Papa Bear. Quite big, that one, isn't it? He's lovely, isn't he? Need a hand with that one, don't you?
Oh, mate, look at that. He is my favourite.
That's because it's you, isn't it?
He's amazing. Yeah. My little friend.
You've got the same grin. Hey? What's going on with this? Oh, hang on, plug's come out. What do you boys unplug this?
No. I'm surprised you haven't finished yet, mate.
I would if someone didn't keep unplugging it every 5 minutes.
With a family of 5 to cater for, Charlie's designed a circular seating area that takes up a large section of the front of the garden.
So basically it's 4.5 metres in diameter, which covers practically the whole garden width.
To make way for this new large deck, the old turf is lifted, distributed to build up Charlie's mound at the back of the garden.
And we'll make a little bit more sense of it later.
Within this hillock will be 2 sunken benches made of waney edge larch. It's Kyle's job to make sure they fit securely in position.
Not bad, is it?
The next job for Gruff is building a framework for the large decked patio, while Ben makes a start on more bench seating. This will be added to the right of the main patio.
Looking all right.
Nikki's children were thrilled with Charlie's strop zone or chill-out area, a small deck at the back of the garden where they can spend time on their own. Gruff is copying the framework of the larger patio, but on a much smaller scale.
Van's turned up with these gorgeous plants. So I'm going to put them right at the back of the garden, I think.
Hardcore is put down in readiness for bound gravel in the seating area at the back. The frame for the new decking is taking shape, and the landscapers have made excellent progress. Great news because Charlie is out front waiting for the Rich brothers to arrive.
Hello, boys.
Hello.
All right, go on then. Let's see what you got in there.
You ready?
Yeah.
Drum roll, please.
It's a Charlie gnome.
Do you recognise it?
I sort of do, I have to say. As you seem to have this kinship with the gnomes, Harry.
Yeah.
I think you ought to be on the gnome home.
Oh, lucky you. I wish to take pride of place, I think.
I think you should,
Yeah. And as you're young, we'll get you on the strop zone.
Oh.
Bending those bars over to make this sort of almost like a cage for teenagers.
Yeah, okay.
Come on, let's go. So we got this big deck area here, which is the family space. So you can sit here, you know, big family space just outside the conservatory door. There's going to be a feature tree here, but also around the back to sort of zone off the areas in the garden. We're going to have some wood in here, which is like organ pipe, so it sort of creates a screen. So when you're sat in this bit, you don't see the rest of the garden. You know, I wanted to give Nikki sort of different areas where she could be sat out. The kids could be down at the bottom of the garden and she won't see them. I know she loves them, but then also it's quite nice with your loved ones not seeing them all the time. Honest. And this is the overspill area. Seating area here, so after you've had a barbecue, you can come and sit here. And to make the garden feel bigger, I've seen the design. So we come off the deck and we zag that way and then we zig this way up to this area up here, which is sort of a chill-out zone for teenagers. This is going to all be turfed over, so it's a sprawly area. You know, it's really nice to sprawl on a bit of turf occasionally, but we have got seats built in. And then we're going to try and screen the fence with some native plants. But then you come over to this area, which is going to be a tiny little deck with a framework round it, planting round it, and fairy lights. So you can just put a beanbag down here and just look at the stars.
Harry's first job is measuring out for the gnome home, and Charlie's chosen the perfect spot, the shed wall at the front right of the garden.
The idea I've got is to create almost these interlinking boxes so that the gnomes can be displayed, but it's quite nice on this wall because you don't see it straight away, do you?
Yeah, see, I quite like gnomes. They've got a bit of humour.
do.
So I'm thinking some are here, and then I'm going to just have a little display spot just up there for her. You know, so she can move them around and go, oh, OK, I want that one today over there, and that type of thing.
It's nice to get them off the ground as well, I think, isn't it?
Lovely.
Shall we get some?
While Harry and Charlie go in search of the gnomes, David's building the strop zone, the chill-out area at the back of the garden.
These rebars are what are going to bend over. Bars used a lot in construction, put into concrete walls, things like that. It helps to give those walls the strength. Pretty cool to use in the garden as well. And as you can see, nice bit of flex on them. So actually, shouldn't be too tricky to bend. Let's have a go. No, nothing yet. That is not bent one bit. I think I need a strong man. Strong man! I need some help.
What's wrong?
I don't even think you'll be able to do it, mate, to be honest. There's no shame in it. But just have and else to do it.
Bend the rod. Bend the rod.
There we are. Charlie, what do you reckon about that there?
Maybe the doorway.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking more of a curve rather than a V.
Yeah.
While David puts gruff strength to good use in the chill-out zone, Harry's measuring out for the gnome home. Charlie paints the wall black so their brightly coloured friends stand out. Harry just needs to work out the configuration.
Charlie, do you want to have a little look where you want the gnomes to be positioned?
Yeah,
we can't actually... Maybe, actually, it might be easier if I do that and that, and I can have one across there.
One across there.
So one across there.
Yeah. And
one
then,
down there, maybe?
Yeah, and then maybe one up there with some small ones.
Yeah.
In the central area, Andy and the team lay 25 square metres of new lawn, costing £110. And David's heading out front.
So now I'm just going to create a doorway into the enclosed area. So I'm just going to make a series of bends, I think. No strong man like Gruff. Watch this bend.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's actually ended up not half bad.
The decked area for the chill-out zone is finished and popped in place. While David puts in his posts...
I'm now occupying your space.
Oh, you know.
Harry's using the decking as a flat surface to finish his gnome home.
That's quite cool, that. I really like it. Lush. Near enough.
It's all go, with Kyle finishing putting down the lawn on the mound next to them at the back. And Gruff and Ben are at the front, laying the decking for the main patio. Charlie's chosen tree casings and wooden framework. The total cost comes in at £570.
Not you again.
You love me, really? Have I set you a task?
Yeah.
In the pitch, I did say to Nikki that I'd make a home for her gnomes, but also a little display deck, so she can take one gnome and just have it displayed. So we're going to put that just there on the mound. Just a bit of fun, make her smile. So these are the petals. And unfortunately, my piece of dowel that I've got for the stem broke. So Kyle is having to just
fix it back
together. We'll have a flower on the top, and we're going to have 2 or 3 of them. Know what you're doing? I'll go thread me beads.
David's metal frame for the chill-out zone is coming along nicely.
Now, rebars of this size come in at £10 each. I really like them, and they remind me of an old rusted rose arch. Gives a lovely bit of character. I think something quite cool at the back of the garden that definitely the whole family can get involved in.
Right, Charlie.
Ooh!
Built
oh! That looks light.
Well, nearly all done. I've used some scaffolding boards to create the actual form of this gnome home, and it's a very easy construction. I've just pre-drilled and then screwed them all together. I've put some brackets on the back, little triangular brackets here, and that's what I'm going to fix this frame into the wall.
It's all happening. I go from one bit and it's finished to the next bit and it's finished.
No, it's fine.
Fine?
What do you reckon?
Yeah, gnomes. It's almost gnome time.
It is, isn't it?
To add interest at the front of the garden, Charlie's chosen one standout statement plant, placed in a key position. A Japanese maple for £300 will sit within the main patio.
Ah, now this is the key plant.
Look at that.
So it's got to go in the deck, but it's that case of maybe try it one over.
Charlie just needs to decide exactly where this maple will have the biggest impact.
Now, see, that's going to lose too much of the deck, isn't it? Can we go back again? Of course. As if you haven't got enough to do. And maybe no, that should be fine, because there's still a big enough gap. That looks great. So the first of the big plants coming in is the key feature tree on the deck. Nikki really loves autumn colour, so it sort of starts off a greeny purple in the spring and then goes a darker purple during the summertime. Purpley red in the autumn. Now, it's a lovely tree because you get a dappled light with it. It will sort of arch over and frame the walkway to this lower area.
With the shelving finally up, Harry can arrange his favourite friends.
You don't want to be down here. The view's not very good. You want to be up there. You ready, Jolly?
Not what I heard.
You could hear it from back there.
Yeah, I thought so. She's just saying she feels a bit drab around all these gnomes.
Oh, I thought she wanted to be on show.
I know what you want. I've got some paints. Oh, yeah. Comes to life. I'll do the light blue top, I feel. Tell you what, it's looking pretty cool.
I can see they're up to no good. The gold highlights are particularly over the top.
I mean, that's quite realistic, I reckon.
Do you?
A glammed-up Charlie is put back in. The decking for the patio is down, so Gruff can mark its circular shape, then Ben accurately cuts it out. The brothers rake over 15 square metres of self-binding gravel costing £160 around the seating area at the back of the garden. It's Harry's job to flatten it with a vibrating plate. To add a feeling of seclusion to the large decked area, Charlie's designed an informal wood screen.
So, this is our waney-edged timber. It's probably large.
Yeah,
so
looks like it.
Lovely silver grey, and it will last a long time. But I'm thinking of having, like, a gap and a tool and mixing it up a bit.
Sounds great.
Charlie works out the arrangement. They're perfectly vertical.
Way.
And Harry screws the boards to the side of the deck.
All right, come on in, next one.
I better leave a big gap so that she can see her washing them. Yeah. Right then, my dears. Do you want to get that there maple in, do we think? Oi!
Get off it.
It's one of the Acer palmatums, got these lovely sort of palmate leaves, which means like a hand, although there are more than 5 fingers. But you get the general idea, it's sort of that shape. And it's going to go up and sort of very broad, not too tall. First plant in. And the biggest one, so it gets easier from here on in, she says. You see all those plants
They're
there?
all in the way.
They're all in the way.
On the deck?
On the deck, yeah. Oh, the euonymus could look nice coming through the wood, wouldn't it?
Charlie has spent £1,200 on trees and plants that will provide the autumn colour and wanted. And they will all thrive with little upkeep.
You see the willow? Can we take the willow back a bit?
With the layout, the team's set to work getting all 96 plants in the ground.
I'm planting Tibetan cherry, really special tree. Now, I'm positioning it here at the back of the garden next to my rebar enclosure because if you look at the bark, it picks up on that rusted rebar really beautifully. Gorgeous texture, fun just to peel off. Nice mahogany colours, really fantastic, and especially in winter then when there are no leaves, there's no other interest, this bark looks really special. It does have some cherries on it, not to eat, but they'll be perfect for the birds. So if you're looking for a featured tree in your small garden, this is definitely the one. It's got gorgeous shape and loads of seasonal interest.
This multi-stemmed Tibetan cherry cost £40.
boundaries a real nice natural feeling. Charlie's planting hornbeam and privet, but one that's really interesting and very, very unusual is this contorted willow. Really sculptural, very interesting tree. So it's going to make a nice piece here at the back of the garden. Now, these can grow quite large, but as you can see, all that you do is you just cut it back. And it's so vigorous in growth that they just shoot out and create these wonderful, wiggly stems.
At the front, Charlie's come up with another autumn arrangement of plants.
I've got some really lovely key shrubs down this end of the garden, round the family deck, which might not look much at the moment, but this one here is known as spindlebush or Euonymus europaeus. It's a native, and at the moment I know it looks very bland, but it gets these amazing seed heads on them, which is great for the birds. But in the autumn, it goes a bright red, pink colour. It's on fire and looks fantastic, and it will sort of screen the deck area, and it's right next to this oak-leafed hydrangea. So it has the flowers in the summer, but it also has these leaves that are quite textured that go like a sort of reddy burgundy in the autumn. So that's going to give Nikki lots of autumn colour around here, what with the purple maple there, and then we've got another maple just here. This will be full-on autumn colour. And then I'm going to have some other sort of perennials that are picking up the oranges and yellows and russet colours.
This Philadelphus, or mock orange, is just nestled up to the seating area. And being enclosed on a warm evening, this scent will just drift through the garden. So if you have a small garden and you're looking for something that has loads of flowers, has a gorgeous scent and a lovely natural look to it, then I think this mock orange.
This size of mock orange costs around £35, all of the outdoor shed.
So we've tidied up the trellis, which is holding up one of Nikki's favourite roses, which her mum gave her. But then we're sort of prettying this up with some troughs, lining them with this felt. So what I am doing is mixing in some extra moisture retention crystals that I've already pre-swollen. So that helps hold on to a lot more moisture when you water them. And it also means that if the containers do dry out, it re-wets much more readily than if it was just straight potting compost. Lovely little bedding plants. These ones are really nice because they're going to sort of cascade over. Ivies, tough as old boots. Got some Nemesia, nice dusky purple. And then a little Felicia, little daisy one. And on and on and on, all through the summer, so they're great.
With all the plants in the ground, the team just need to get the rest of the garden looking its best. Andy screws in a ground spike in readiness for Nikki's washing line. David adds fairy lights to his chill-out zone at the back of the garden.
It's make a big difference, isn't it?
To add to the ambience in the seating area at the back, for £80, Charlie's put in a fire bowl.
Have we got a gnome that can go here?
Shall I just grab one from there?
Just take the fishing gnome. I quite like the fishing gnome, personally.
With a few tweaks, the garden is finally ready.
Look at that.
That's a bit comfortable, isn't it?
That is a sprawly, stroppy teenage pose,
Should we
isn't
see if he
it?
grunts as well?
Too cool for school. I bet he won't talk to us now.
It's a spot.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know, this garden to me seems so much bigger.
I know, it's so different. And great seating.
Yes.
Everywhere.
I love that seat there.
Yeah. So you've got so many nice curves leading you to different areas.
The amount of, like, shrubs in here is wonderful. Absolutely love it.
Low maintenance as well.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that. That's just going to bush up,
Yeah.
green up, be wonderful.
Right then, shall we see if they would like it?
Yeah, never log on the fire, I think.
Yeah.
When the team first came to this garden, it was a no-go zone that Nikki was ashamed of and her teenage children ignored. Now, it has had a £3,000 transformation into a dynamic space with something for all the family. A large decked patio with a privacy screen dominates the front of the garden. Extended seating is provided at the back. grass mound with inbuilt bench seating. A huge selection of low-maintenance plants and trees in autumnal colours fill the space. Finally, there's a decked chill-out zone, decorated with fairy lights and a beanbag. Charlie just needs to get Nikki in position, ready for the reveal.
Do you want to open your eyes?
Oh my God, it's lovely. It's really lovely.
Is that good?
That's lovely. Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Oh dear, don't cry, you made me cry.
That's just amazing. It just doesn't look like the same place, does it?
Beautiful emotion. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
So this is the big family area. You've actually got somewhere to sit now.
Brilliant.
We filled it with scent orange, but then we know you love your autumn colours.
Yeah.
So this spindle tree goes bright red and pink in the autumn. We've got a red maple there that's going to arch up and over.
Oh my God.
And we've got hydrangeas to give you summer colour.
Oh.
And then with the summer planting, we've picked up the autumn colours with all the russets and
the russet oranges. Oh, it's fantastic.
Do you think this seating area is big enough?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. I was so amazed. It's just brilliant.
Now they actually have a space outside the house that they can use. That's like a dining area or anything that they choose. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, but I think, you know, Chaz done a great job by making it feel more enclosed.
Yeah.
With those upright organ pipes she loves doing.
And then we've got this overspill area.
Oh my God.
I thought that didn't look anything like me, but apparently it does.
I mean, doesn't it?
I
You
have to
look
say, it
much
could be
lovelier
you.
in real life,
Could
Charlie.
be you as well.
It's amazing. That's fabulous.
We thought you could store your gnomes there rather than have them just leaning over in the corner of the garden.
Yeah.
A bit of fun, because you said the gnomes make you laugh.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do.
So again, we've got another seating area here with evergreens. This is a little crab apple. All the plants I put in will basically look after themselves.
Brilliant.
As long as you water them.
Brilliant.
The lawn.
The lawn.
For the dogs and...
The gnomes.
No, the dogs and the washing line.
Oh, the wash. Oh, I forgot the washing line. The hole for the washing line.
We've put a new spigot in for you.
I've ordered a brand new washing line.
Oh, have you?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
We're going to go all out with this. We are.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Perfect spot for the washing line. They're completely disguised, out of view from the house.
And then this is like the teenage zone.
This is the sprawl zone, isn't
The
it?
sprawl with the fire bowl, which is movable. So you could have it down in that area.
Absolutely brilliant. And there's some fairy lights
Fairy
as well.
lights, they're just...
I just don't know what to say. It's just absolutely fantastic. It really is. The little gnome.
Yeah. So do you think the children will like the space?
I think they're going to be amazed with it, yeah. I think they will.
This could backfire on you, you know.
Do you think? Why?
Well, they could just stay in the garden all the time.
Well, no, because I want to stay in the garden. They can stay in the house, can't they? Okay. And I'll come and sit out here on the beanbag. Happy days.
Sounds good to me. Shall we get them in?
Let's do it.
Open your eyes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Fits really well.
We'll have to wander through.
Are you going to sprawl in the sprawl zone?
I'll be sprawling.
and loving the Charlie gnome.
Oh, no. Brilliant. Charlie gnome.
Painted to perfection.
The kids look right at home, and Nikki can't wait to get her friends and to enjoy her new garden.
Well, do you know, before the garden was just awful, but now we've got this lovely new garden, and I'm just so pleased with it.
Oh, Nick, you're a lucky monkey.